Hmm. All right. Let us switch gears and revisit. Hi, Theodosia. I didn't know you were going to come back and say hello again.
Well, was I supposed to come back? I don't know.
I'm excited and ready to do more things. We're going to continue on with the teacher training. So thank you for joining us.
Okay.
And did you get a chance to share? You can share now if you'd like to.
Okay. So my takeaway, just to be brief, I don't want to interrupt your time. One, thank you for having me again. I was kind of pulled at the end when we tried to do journaling, family and everything, but that kind of fueled my journal entry because I couldn't really draw or get into the directions that you were giving. So my journal entry basically stated on the fact that during the practice, it's been a while since I actually engaged in restorative yoga. Most of my practices have been kind of like a build of a workout and also kind of more of a vinyasa flow. But I've always done a lot of restorative because I've always found myself needing that place of rest. And I haven't been able to truly find that place of rest for multiple reasons. So while we were in the midst of practice, I found myself thinking like, oh my God, this is so slow. I have so so much to do. And I found myself like, why am I feeling this way? Because I'm used to enjoying my stillness and it bothered me. So I found myself like constantly telling myself like I surrender, I need this rest. And I question like lately, have I really truly found stillness? Even when I say that I'm not going to do anything today, and even if I'm not physically moving, my mind has been constantly moving. So this practice was really required in order to remind me that I haven't really been practicing stillness. And I really need to get back into it because rest has been escaping me with my schedule, with my family, and with the things that I find myself needing to do, but I haven't really been enjoying my rest like I need to in order to really feel refreshed and engaged. And so I thank you for that and providing that space and that true stillness in those poses. So that was my takeaway, and it's gonna stay on my mind for like the rest of the week because I'm gonna stop with my vinyasa flow and pull out my bolsters and my blocks. And even if I do restorative yoga in the morning, because it's more so when I find myself doing it, I've always like really engaged at night. Um, but I really need it in the morning because that's when the house is quiet and no one's tugging on me. And sometimes you just gotta get in where you fit in. So, and that's where my rest practice is going. And so that was my takeaway from the day. Right. And thank you again for
sharing.
offering that space.
Yes, thank you for sharing.
Right.
It's so interesting that we can give ourselves distractions, even if it's not the phone and the scroll, the to-do list, the responsibilities. So I'm glad you got to enjoy that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming back just in enough time to share that.
Thank you. So I'm gonna let y'all go
Have a
and
good day.
see you later. Bye.
All right. Let's switch gears into talk about the projects. Has everyone decided on what your project will be? And if you would like to do it solo or with a partner? And we're just gonna like have a discussion, right?
Yeah, I decided solo and the podcast.
Okay.
I can't hear her.
Uh-huh.
Raya, I'm gonna do solo and I'm gonna do the podcast.
Oh, I like.
Yeah,
Okay, tell us about the vision.
getting down.
Okay, are you thinking just so that we can support you in the thought process and the manifestation? Was it something you would want to do like solo, you talking about like current events in yoga, or talking about the studies of yoga, the philosophy, the history? Like, what is there a way that you see it like really resonating?
I would like the philosophy and also adding that breathwork and meditation aspect to it as well.
So like you would come in potentially teach the concept and then teach a practice to go with the concept? Or talk about the concept and how it's important and then guide through it potentially?
Yeah.
Okay. Because another way that I was thinking that I might do in the future is have like a talk about real life yoga and then practice it together, like with the person, with the guest. So, I mean, you could do it like solo, or you could like, hey, our conversation, it could be a group even, I don't know. If you want to do like special guests or, start to create that network of people where you come on and like, hey, today's topic is the first agreement, for example. Like, how does that show up in your life? How does it show up in my life? Okay, let's look at the history. Let's look at some text, and then let's do a practice based off of this. So that could be a way. Maybe. Cool. Keep working. Good job. All right. And we'll do one over here. Raya, tell us about your project.
So I wanted to, I guess, follow through with, I think Docs asked us in like week 1, like what was our reason for this? And mine is definitely just connection with community, my friends and family, like prioritizing health and wellness, just, within my loved ones. So can y'all hear me? Okay. But yes, just wanting to focus on pouring what I'm learning into my loved ones. So I'm doing an event where I'm going to invite my friends and family out for just kind of like a family fun day. Cause I'm typically the person in my family to throw like the parties, like, my house is the house party. So the party house. So I want to do something like that, something fun, but get their body moving, activate their mind, things like that. So I haven't really, got into the details, but I know that's what I want it to be surrounded around.
I love that. Love that.
Retreats.
Like a family retreat,
Backyard family retreats type.
Yeah.
one day retreat, yeah.
And I wanted to feel like, the family barbecue.
Yes, I love that.
I like that so much. get to choose the menu, you get to
Mm-hmm.
schedule, you know,
Yep.
what you'll start with, and just like how the day progresses. I love
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely recommend setting it up like a sequence of class, like have the goal for the day, the philosophy that y'all are gonna work on.
Mm.
If you don't specifically tell them, they'll be able to feel it because
Feel
you're
it.
gonna choose the activities that will,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so even if it's like being, like activating your inner child or, you know, letting go of inhibitions, whatever the case, you know, the activities that you choose, whether it be, you know, a little dodgeball or, you know, just however you do it, they get the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So then they have, you know, of course you could do the breath work, the meditation, you could do asana, whatever you choose.
Yeah.
It would give them the opportunity to feel more connected with it.
Yeah.
Love that. You can even like guide them during eating, do like a eating
Mm.
awareness, like feel yourself chewing, you know, feel yourself swallowing, you know, smell the food, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I like that. I'm writing this down.
Okay.
But yeah, this just felt most natural for me. So connected with my family. So
I know I ain't family, but I'm gonna need an invite.
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, friends, family, community, like yeah, the whole nine.
I will share, Raya, that one of the offerings that I have done in the past, I had 3 families that I would start the new year with, and we would have like like their family meeting. I would go in and one of the practices that Alicia introduced, like it's one of my favorite things, is choosing the words that we would like to like kind of call out and not and take out of our vocabulary. And then what are the words that I would ask them to pick one word for their year that would make them feel connected to their ultimate goal. It's
Mm,
their New Year's resolutions, but it was deeper than just the working out. It's about creating the oneness within. And so then we would start on January 1st, or in the beginning of the year. And we would go through the exercise journal. I would do sound healing. We would do a little practice, then I would end with sound healing, meditation. And then I would give them a couple of journal prompts to carry through them that's reoccurring, that they can continue to write to throughout the year. And then in 6 months, I would go back and we would have a check-in. And it was really,
mm,
did that for 3 families, and when I was here in Houston.
I
And
like that.
it was such a beautiful experience, like to witness families really like coming together and speaking
Mm-hmm.
things. And so
Yeah.
that is just amazing.
Yeah. Like doing the work. I
Things
like that.
building for you, just beautiful.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
What's your project, so?
So I am going I'm still getting clear on it, but as a person that loves to bring people together, and I've tried to do this in the past, but I've hit walls. So I believe that mine is a group. I already have my business name, which is Solistic Soul. And solistic comes from the word holistic, but with an S because Sophie. Uh, so that's just the thought process behind that. Nothing really complicated. I just
Oh, I thought SOL like the sun.
of that.
So-
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought.
A lot of it could be everything really.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that's in the holistic umbrella. So, but what I really want to do is where I'm finding myself now in my life is that I'm in this corporate space. I'm around a lot of stress. Around a lot of disconnected people. And so I really want to find a way to to go into these companies and meet with the leaders and introduce some sort of mindfulness practice where it doesn't, it's very easeful, where it's thoughtless for them to just say yes, because like, and what I've found in my company, the challenge is that we are so busy. And so for us to even just take like moments when I start meetings, it's like, let's just breathe for a moment, like that's fine, but that's about the extent of time, that because they're so attached to schedules and we have to deliver. We're working, we're our contracts are with the government, so we have to deliver. So it's a high stress job, but it's very fun and it's very fulfilling to, if we could just detach from the schedules, and this is a lot in many corporations, is if we could just detach from the schedules for just a moment and make some time for some sort of mindfulness practice. I think that we would see a lot of our leaders leading in a less disease type way and really being powerful leaders to these corporations, to the employees, to the staff, and it will just trickle down because we look up to these leaders. Is in my like my perception, like my boss, he's well educated, he's very connected, and I really look up to him and his education process, like everything that
Can I
he's
pause
done.
you? Because I have a question.
Yes.
Does that look like because you mentioned that, if you get people in a room, you said this before, if you get people in a room, even if it's an hour, 2 hours, they're gonna be thinking about being somewhere else.
Mhm.
Is it a possibility to, I don't know if you have enough time. I mean, of course, we have enough time to do all the things. But as far as this particular thing goes, if you could organize after a deadline to have, maybe a weekend retreat or a 1-day retreat that's like the company gives people time to go and do, like, maybe a half a day after a big deadline so they can actually just for a moment, do something like that. Maybe that would.
Yeah, I like that, and that would be like perfect timing, really, for everyone that's working to this. And it's just, I don't know if I need to sit with it a little bit longer, if it's me that's creating these limitations around, because it's like, oh, they're not here, because I've already been told no. And so there's where I'm at. I want to do something for the corporate world and bringing that in, but
The other element could be, is if it's not directly through the company, you could make a weekend or a Saturday or a Sunday, self-care Sunday, organize the things and just have people come for that day
yeah,
or that weekend, like it doesn't have to be, super long, that 6-hour block or 8-hour block or 3-hour block, whatever it many, yeah, so that they actually are saying, hey, I'm gonna show up for this. They need to register, they need to take care of it maybe on their own or with their benefits or flex points or whatever. But then they're able to go and actually let go. Like it's Sunday, you're not allowed to check any email. Let your shoulders down.
yeah. Mhm. Yes,
Cool.
thank you.
Keep thinking on that. That sounds excellent. I mean, you could open it up and host a corporate retreat for anybody in the corporate world to come to.
Yeah.
Especially if your company is saying no right now, because maybe they need to see it. So you host the thing, record the thing, like have your video footage, maybe a couple testimonials, but then you have that. So you say, hey, I know that I spoke to you about such and such, and I feel like maybe you needed a vision, and then send them the video, the highlight reel or the, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it could be like something that's not that, but in the motion towards creating.
Would you say that the experience, like for the experience, is it more beneficial for in-person or online? I'm thinking that online is
probably the space that I want to fill, but I love being in person, so I go back and forth with that. Cause like.
I
'cause
say
in
pick
my-
one,
in-
pick one and do both, but pick one to do first.
Yeah.
So whichever one you're like, this would be more easeful for me or more exciting for me to do first right now, and then do that. Cool. All right. Thank you for sharing. So we'll go back over here. Mia, what's your project idea? And I'm gonna get some more cucumbers, so keep talking.
So I've been thinking between two things, and I am thinking of doing a yoga event or a self-care retreat. And so I'm like teetering between the two because I know saying like maybe a seasonal like retreat, like a weekend type thing, or doing a like big monthly yoga event or something like that. So I don't really know. I'm like both of the two can work. It just depends on what like my capacity is. And so if I do a self-care retreat, it would be like a day retreat where people can come and completely just drop into their bodies, ease their minds, nourish their bellies with yummy food, and um the yoga, like it would be like a yoga meditation sound healing vibe. And so it would be kind of layered in that, and then there'll be times where people can like interact and connect with each other, and like have like small, like I would have like vendors to excuse me, vendors that could offer like mini services, like maybe like foot and hand massages, or um maybe even like a little workshop, like one workshop aside from like the yoga teaching and stuff. And
So can I pause you? 'Cause I heard a
it's
couple,
like I have, yeah,
hear me? Okay.
yes.
So you mentioned before the desire to do the retreat, and then you
Mhm.
shared just now that you had some feelings because you thought about doing seasonal or monthly. And so I hear that, and I applaud you for already having that forward thinking to say, hey, I'm gonna do this again. And I invite you to notice where your mind is taking it in overdrive or overthinking.
All the time.
And I invite you to consider this as your test.
Okay.
This is your first thing, like what Sophie said, she could do this or she could do that, she can go here, she could do virtual. Pick one that's the most exciting and the one that gives you energy. I love
Okay.
the idea of hand massages, foot massages, like that sounds exciting to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so
First is
I
exciting.
do have also for anyone who's interested, and we haven't talked to you, Nuri, yet about yours, but I have a body paint artist, and I would be willing to teach an event or at one of your events, a body paint yoga meditation.
Hmm.
Mm.
I love the whole like body paint ideas. I've seen that before.
Yeah, so we would specifically use the paint to identify parts of the body, feel those parts,
Mm.
and create that whole connection. Like you can see it, you can feel it kind of thing. So,
Mm.
yeah. Okay. Nuri. Oh, wait. Before we go to Nuri, Mia, is that helpful? Are there any other things that you like to add or ask?
It is helpful because like they're two different things, and I guess like the level and the scale that it requires is just like one is a bit more easeful, the other one's just gonna require like more intention. Like one would be like maybe like a Saturday and Sunday thing, one can just be a day thing. But I want to do like events and retreats. and offer that. And so this would kind of be like showcasing the mastermind, the mastermind of it all. And once people are able to see that, I just intend that people will want to book me and allow me to share that space internationally. You know, so I put together events.
Start easy, start simple, start easy, do it one day. And
Yeah,
do, an 8 hour or a 6 hour, so you don't have to worry about lodging,
yeah,
or, any of that. You just
yeah.
greet them when they come and you hug them when you leave.
Yeah, because I've done events before. I've put together a lot of events. I've taught and led and guided, and I'm very familiar with it, but now I'm like, there's levels that I'm realizing where I'm like, what about sponsorships? What about investing? Like that, I'm like at that level where I'm just like, I need to consider that. And so it's kind of all swirling around.
I have some trainings that may be of service for y'all to put it in and make money. Because remember, if you're in the 1,000 hour, you do need to profit $500 from the event. So as well, you have to profit $500 from the event. Okay. And so I have some trainings that can help you with that. So for all my 1,000 hour people, you're gonna get access to that sooner than later. For my 200 hour people, you'll get that training after you complete the course. So I'll be making that accessible to you all to use and reference. Excellent,
Thank you.
excellent, excellent. Great, great job, great work. Keep it up. All right, share with us.
So I am going to take this weekend and find and make a decision what I want, because I am having a lot of overthinking and ruminating and lack of confidence. I'm just going through the emotions, right? It's for someone that, for me, I've never really, I push myself away from people a lot.
Can y'all hear her? Kind of.
I don't really hang out with people or really put myself out there because I took so much time to just feel for myself and just be with myself. And, even being on social media, all of that wasn't for me in a while. And since I started doing yoga, I've been able to self-transform, find a lot, figure out a lot. And so I am just ruminating on my ideas and.
What are the ideas?
Well, the first one, since our first choice was a yoga event, so I was thinking of that. And just thinking of the space of where I want to do that. And the kind of people I want to attract, or, how everything. So it's just a lot of, like I said, I'm taking this weekend because since the idea has popped up, the project, I can't seem to really just confidently make what I want to do, because I've never lived this experience, and I want to be in this experience because this is what I want to do in my journey. So I'm putting myself forward, but I have to be honest, like, it's scary. It's I don't even, it's a whole new vision, and I want to be in that vision. I envision myself in that, but for starting off, where it's like, I haven't even, been able to do all that I want to do physically sometimes. So it's still just taking a lot of process.
Okay.
But like I said, I'm taking this weekend to figure it out, and then from there moving forward. And I don't really have the connections or the network yet or anything. And since I've been doing my training, I'm always saying, like, once I'm done with my training, I'll get out there, I'll do this, I'll network and everything, because I'm so in my studies that I haven't really been out there yet. So I know all that's gonna come to me. I just need to find my space where I can allow myself to confidently make a decision.
Okay, so since we're talking about it now,
Yeah.
were you thinking a 3 hour event or something longer?
Shorter.
Short, like two,
An hour or two.
an hour or two? Okay, I recommend an hour or two is a nice amount of time, knowing that, people may be a little bit rushed or, people live their lives in go mode so often. So having a little bit more than an hour can really give people a chance to feel settled. Because even in a class, a 60-minute class, there's only so much you have the ability to share before people are like, all right, gotta go. So just so that you can also feel like you have the ability to hold space for them, you can let them go early if you choose, but you at least have this energetic space where people commit to being there with you for 90 minutes. And it could be virtual, it could be in person, it's completely up to you. Especially if you're not sure about space and stuff, and I heard you say you're not sure about different connections, because remember, like, that's part of the reason for talking here. In one of our previous trainings, there was a woman, she said, hey, I really want to serve women of color who have, children or who are pregnant. And she was like, oh, wow, I have this connection with this midwife. And then the connection was made. So not having the resources is not a reason to hold yourself back, because speaking up and sharing with your tribe, you never know who we know that will be the ideal connection. All right, so good luck with that. So we already have in our mind, it's gonna be a maximum 2-hour event. And so you just have to decide if you'd like to do it virtually or if you'd like to do it in person. And then in person, you can choose. It could be outdoor, it could be indoor, it could be 5 of your closest friends. It doesn't have to be some big to do, it could be your immediate family. You just like get everybody to agree to be somewhere at a certain time. That's the biggest part of it, the scheduling, all right? You don't have the requirement of profiting $500. That's for the other training, so. All right. Okay, excellent. So we're gonna switch gears. Great work, y'all, on your projects. Keep those thoughts churning. Another thought that came up to me for anybody who might really love videos and images, like, you can make a little mini documentary about yoga. There's so many things you can do, all right? I'm so glad y'all had some answers today, because I was like, if y'all weren't coming with these answers, we was about to change some things up. I had a thing planned, so lucky for y'all that we didn't have to go there, because y'all were gonna have some different feelings. All right, cool. So switching gears for us to talk about sovereignty. Sovereignty in the book, Yoga Best Life. Sovereignty in the boundaries. Does everybody have their book? No? Y'all here? No? Okay. So what we'll do is we'll have those who do have the book read. It's a pretty short read, just to give you some awareness on the book. Someone can read from my book. And then we'll do the exercise. Good call. All right. So we'll do popcorn for the people who don't have the book. Y'all can share this one. So Sophie might have to go over there and you can grab a chair if you like.
What page is it on?
It is on page 42. All right, whoever would like to first read, you can read, and then you'll popcorn someone else. So everybody on the screen is up for popcorn grabs.
I can start.
When you popcorn, you give them the ability to benefit by sharing their beautiful voice with us. But teach your breath and go.
Sovereignty. Daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves, even when we risk disappointing others. Brene Brown. Our first date was set. I was eager for my first ever tactical gun course. I'm a proud Texan. Before class, we met up to retrieve the needed ammunition. It had been a few months since I had seen him. I was excited. After we secured the rounds, we returned to the parking lot He had never ridden in a Jeep before, so he decided on his own to walk to the passenger door and wait for me to unlock it. Sophie.
I had not anticipated having any passengers, and the interior of the Jeep appeared disheveled. I panicked. I could tell he really wanted to ride with me, but there was no way I was starting off our first ever date on the wrong foot with the situation in my vehicle. I took a deep breath and told him, no. He laughed and tried to unlock the door. I took a bigger breath than before and put my foot down and I said, you invited me on this date, so you will drive. Mary. Instantly, I freaked out a little. I have never set a strong boundary or been sternly against doing something others wanted to do. I especially have never turned down a request from a guy I was romantically interested in. Yikes. Ayola.
For a moment, he did not say anything. Then I saw it in his eyes. Respect. I had given
I can't hear you.
I had given him no choice but to respect my boundary and respect me. More so, I learned that it is okay to recognize my own sovereignty and to defend it with a passion that demands respect. So, not Sophie, Mia.
You're on mute, Mia.
LOL. Okay. Tapas. Tapas refers to the passion generated from yoga practice. This passion burns away impurities or things that do not serve your highest good. When you actively envision the sovereignty of your personal boundaries, tapas helps clarify the energy you need to live yoga best life. Boundaries are like having a border around your country that protects your sovereignty. Actors seeking to engage with you recognize your boundaries, they acknowledge your independence, they ask permission, and they govern themselves according to the law of the land. Imagine a fence around your property. You get to decide who is allowed in, what they can bring, and the terms of their visits. You are the defender of your own sovereignty. Alicia.
I don't have a book. Somebody else. All right, there we go.
Dr. Raya.
I got it. Personal boundaries may be less visually apparent than a wall, a border, or fence. However, people can use indicators of your personal boundaries and maintenance to determine how they may interact with you. Boundaries imply safety. In areas prone to fires, firefighters may use a technique of burning a boundary line so that any approaching fire will not pass at the border. Boundaries are designed to keep things you want inside and keep things you don't want outside. Your personal force field of protection defines what is yours and what belongs to others. Embrace the freedom of self-ownership with tapas. All right, Raya.
That's all I have. Where do I go next?
Next page.
Oh, okay. The energetic boundaries. Use the following images to determine your personal boundaries in each energetic plane. Inside the circle, write things that you want to keep or add. Outside of the circle, note things that you do not allow or no longer want within each boundary. Attract your ideal lifestyle by visualizing new things or removing old habitual comforts.
All right. So everyone see the example there? Okay, so you're about to do an exercise with a few of these together. Your homework will include you finishing up the boundary for each energy level of the main 7 chakras. Okay? So first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna pick your favorite color. And that's the one you're gonna work with first. So go ahead and turn to the page with your favorite color so you can see a couple of the prompts. So that gives you a place to start. You're going to add a minimum of 10 additional items inside the circle beyond the ones that are recommended. An additional 10 items be out on the outside of the circle beyond the ones recommended. All right, so for my people online, feel free to write it in your journal. For my people in person, you're going to get a dry erase, grab a window or a whiteboard. And you have 5 minutes. Go. Any window, any whiteboard. Draw your circle. And you need a total of 14 on the inside, or excuse me, 12 on the inside, 12 on the outside. Anybody in TV land getting stuck? Or y'all doing okay? What are your thoughts, Ryan?
My boundary setting is for thoughts. So I'm sitting here just trying to really think about how could I set thought-based boundaries.
Okay, what do you have so far?
So far, I have two things on the outside of the circle, and that's second guessing and overthinking.
Okay. You can use any of the things you learned so far. So we learned about the vritis, we've learned about
Mm,
attachment, we've learned about pureness of thoughts, we learned about suitcases, like, go into the things that we've observed that you had aha moments that you'd like to stick and stay with you.
okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Mia, how about you?
I feel like things are flowing.
Okay. All right, cool. So y'all need a couple more minutes?
Mhm.
All right. All right, cool. Assumptions, okay. Which so flexible figure out. So maybe there's some examples of what type of anger, where was the anger inside? Your chest, maybe it's stripping of your jaw, maybe it's all of your fists. You're getting specific about the things so that you can know outside. And then same for the inside. Identify what it feels like, what the actions are. What y'all can add here, what are what does it look like when your face, when you experience the things that you don't desire? What does it feel like in your body when you experience the things that you don't desire? So that you can identify when you're outside the circle, when you have experienced anger, when you had unhealthy thoughts. How did that show up in your body? What happened? When you identify those things, you'll be able to spot it quicker. Oh, I'm outside the circle. I'm outside the boundary. Also identify the things and the feelings that you have when you're inside the circle. How do you know that you have, if you are inside the circle? Does it feel like ease? Does it feel like softness in a certain body part? You have 60 more seconds to finish up, and then of course you have more time in your homework to finish as well. All right, for all my people not writing in your journal, go ahead and decide if you're gonna take a picture of this, or if you're gonna write this out in your journal as well. And then you can start to do those. Start to either picture or journal. All right. Well, looks like you have to do it in a journal. Okay, so while our people in person are writing theirs or picturing theirs, anybody has some challenges or some aha moments? What came up for you?
For me, it was a little challenging thinking about inside the bubble and more so because I'm finding that it's hard to identify the practices that I have integrated into my life, like self-care. And like now it's become a thing for me that it's hard to identify.
And so when you did work on identifying, what did it feel like?
It felt good, but I'm leaving there feeling like it's very surface level. And
not quite 12.
yeah,
Well, luckily for you, when you go through all of them, this is where you start.
Mhm.
And now you have a place where you can go deeper. Yeah. Anybody else want to share? Thank you for sharing.
Really like this exercise because it allows me to like clearly define like what my non-negotiables are. And I feel like I kind of struggled in the past with like clearly setting boundaries. Like I know what I like I know what I will go for and I know what I won't go for, but how to clearly define that has always been a little blurry. And so that has like led to sometimes me being a little abruptive when I feel like, oh no, this is like, this ain't it. I don't like this. Like, let me aggressively assert my boundaries here. And so I did the heart chakra, and that one just allowed me to like kind of set the foundation, I guess, for like everything else that of how I want to like be, live, and experience in relation with myself and others. So it does feel good to clarify these things.
Yes.
Hmm. I can agree with that. I began to think about, so mine was opposite of yours, Sophie. I think you mentioned you had a harder time putting things inside the circle. And for me, I had a harder time putting things outside the circle once Alicia gave me a little guidance, because inside the circle, I just began to think. So mine was, again, the thought boundary. So I just began to think about what boundaries or what am I doing when I'm having positive thoughts. And so that's when the ideas begin to rush in. So like having like not going outside of my sleeping patterns. Like if I have a goal, say like I'm gonna be in bed at this time, I know it just sets me up for a better thought process and just the way that my thoughts flow for the next day. So it's almost like the preparation for it. And I have to stand on that, because whenever I allow either myself or others to disrupt that, it just it sets me up, to not have those positive thoughts. So that came up. The example was here, but I also wrote it down for myself. But healthy fasting, like, doing this program, I decided that I would do the cleanse that I shared with you guys before. I did the duck flower cleanse, and I haven't consumed meat since being in this program. And I feel like that has also allowed me to keep my thoughts on a positive path. So that's what came up for me.
Yes. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Anybody else want to share?
I want to say that I started learning about boundaries and, understanding them, but I never quite really got the gist of it. But when I read this part of your book, even the example you gave, like that is something that I was reading and I was like, oh, okay, and that made me see that a boundary is basically anything that you do not want to do or do not allow, and so even your example just, it ignite me to be like, those are what boundaries are, is literally just saying no to what you want to say no to, and I had a harder time writing outside of the circle as well, because during this program, like I said, meeting is so self-transformation that it really allows me to see like what I want in my circle and in my journey of this yoga life. And so I would say thank you for the book, because I finished it and it's really great, and I can't wait for your second one. You say you have a second one coming, so I think it's amazing that you added it to your reading requirement.
Yes, I love, love, love this, because if y'all heard me talk about this before, my undergrad was in diplomacy. And so whenever I learn things and look at them through this scope, I mean, even I see yoga as a way to make the world better. Like, that's how I perceive the people being able to connect with themselves, then being able to connect with others. So for me, learning about boundaries, it only made sense when I thought about it, like, oh, when I go to Mexico and all I need is my ID to cross the border, they let me take whatever I'd like in. But when I go to Asia, or when I come back home from Thailand and I realize they don't let me bring, I had a banana or an apple or something in my bag that I was planning on eating, but you're not even allowed to bring that back from Asia. I was in the baggage claim area and they have the little sniffy dogs. And, I'm like, I'm good. I ain't got no bombs, we straight over here, but he came and sat down by my bag. And the guy was like, ma'am, do you have any fruit or any plants or vegetables? And I was like, oh, like, they do not allow you to bring certain things in here. When you go to Africa, you are required to do certain things to enter, to have certain shots. When I traveled to France, I was required to have a visa. Well, I was going for a long period of time. So I was required to have a student or work visa. And not only that, I didn't just need to have a return flight to make sure that I wasn't just gonna live there. I needed to have a round trip ticket, and I needed to have a place that I was staying. They needed proof that I had somewhere that I was staying. And the different countries have different requirements. And because they're sovereign, if you want to interact with them, if you want to travel there, you must abide by those rules. And so when people in my family try to do that old thing, like, oh, you ain't call me, and you just gone, you ain't pick up the phone. I'm like, in the past, I'd have been like, the phone worked both ways, and we would have went back on and forth. You know how that goes. Now, because I've clearly identified my boundaries. I do not enjoy guilt trips. That is outside of my circle. So when I hear the guilt trip and then I feel tense in my neck, so I identified when this thing outside the circle happens, here's what happens in my body. I tense up. I might feel something in my stomach. I might feel something in my chest. And so when I notice that, say, oh, Grammy, I know I enjoy spending time with you too. And so what I hear you saying is that you would like to talk a little more because you enjoy our time together, our moments together. Is that what I'm hearing you say? And then I get them to acknowledge that what I said was actually what they meant to say, but because of their life, because of their unfamiliarity with this word, they didn't have the ability, they didn't have the tools to say that. And so instead of being upset with them like I was at the beginning of my journey, like, I just can't believe you always trying to guilt trip me. It's like, I appreciate you enjoying spending time with me. I like spending time with you too. And Instead of that, how about let's have a set time where we talk? Let's commit to talking once a week. So we're able to go forward from there in this, where we can be inside the circle. But the people, they don't know. How would they know? They don't have any boundaries for themselves. They let people guilt trip them all the time. They might have boundaries on some things. That's like having a 3/4 gate. You got a gate on the back part, the front part of your house, but you have no back gate. People can just walk up in your backyard. Cause you only had a gate around the front. So it can keep some things out until they go around and like, oh, just gonna let my dog poop on your grass. Yeah. And one of the words that I have noticed, if anyone, when you're working on your throat chakra, should implies expectation. Should, and I don't let people should all over me. And so they're like, oh, you should have called me. That immediate, outside the circle. I'm like, ah, I know that when I talk to you, we get to laugh together. And I do want to laugh with you. So you know what? And then I make a different choice. I shift the energy. So do you see what the power is when you can identify for you, for the anger, for you, for the thoughts, for the feelings, for the things that don't feel right in your gut when you're not trusting your intuition. When those things come up, you can say, oh, it's outside the circle. And now you get to make a choice because you've been able to recognize it. So as you do your work, your homework of putting 10 things inside the circle and 10 things outside the circle, I invite you to put these things up on your wall somewhere. Like if it's rip at the paper out your journal and tape it up until you get it, until you remember. Put it somewhere you can see it, on your bathroom mirror, on the side, or wherever you can see it, so that you can notice these things. And then every day, maybe you see one of them, you're like, all right, I'm gonna do something inside the circle today. All right, any questions about this or any thoughts?
I love it.
Okay, excellent. Okay, good work, y'all. Okay, so now, did everybody get a chance to share about everybody get a chance to share? Anybody not share about like one thing that's inside the circle or anything that came up during the exercise?
Yeah, I have.
And so that everyone can hear.
Yes, so my favorite color is green. So that's the heart chakra. So I think I was a little confused, but inside my circle, I feel like compassion and clear communication and healthy habits and all of those things just make my heart feel good.
Yeah,
Being friendly and things of that nature.
yeah. So what was confusing about it?
I don't know, I make things confusing for myself.
Huh?
Or I just I feel like maybe I don't understand what it is that we have to do sometimes, so I doubt myself
Yeah.
to the point where I'm like, I don't know what to do, right?
And then instead of asking the question, you just should all over yourself.
I do shit. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's knowledge.
Good to know. Yeah.
Knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you can catch yourself in the future.
Yes, I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, and it's something that, like with Candace, like going back to like my younger self, like remembering, okay, this is where it stems from, because I always would be afraid to speak up in class or.
Which is why they can't hear you now. And you see how loud she just laughed, y'all?
And that's how it's always been. Like I'm always quiet when it comes to like speaking, but then when I have a loud laugh and it can be obnoxious and things like that. But yeah.
What does obnoxious mean?
Well, it's not obnoxious to me. I love it, but to other people, like to outsiders, sometimes like, oh, that's really bad. You know. Yeah.
When I first went natural, it was obnoxious to my grandmother that my hair was not combed. It was obnoxious to someone who tell me, oh, you should wear more black and more neutral colors. My outfits are obnoxious. And that's a judgment. And especially if other people are not feeling that, then that's a held on to judgment from something, like you said, in the past. And it's great that you keep noticing it. If that's like your thing, like, hey, I might not be able to change it all the way or change it as fast as I like, but I can notice it. That's a cool place to be. Maybe, you know, allowing yourself the freedom from shooting all over you perfecting that. Like, I should be able to fix this immediately. I should be able to get over this. I should be able to, should. I should be able to laugh out loud. And if somebody thinks it's obnoxious,
Yeah, I got over.
I should be able to speak louder, speak up, and ask a question.
Yeah, and even like with Candace, like there was something she was saying and I wanted to speak up in class, but I kept saying to myself, I don't want to, I don't want to take up the time class, or I don't know if what I'm saying is accurate. So it's like, then I just keep thinking whether or not like that's the right thing to say, and I don't say it all.
Yes, and then you messaged me later, and I was like, what?
I know you're like, you should have said it. I'm like,
Did I say should?
No, I think you said next time to say it in class.
Did you ask her when you saw her in person?
And yeah, but I told myself that I needed to write it down, because when I get in front of someone, sometimes all of my words get jumbled up and it's confusing to them. So I ended up confusing her because I never wrote it down. She was like, write it down next time, and then ask me instead of.
Yeah, very cool. Awesome. Good work. I see some good work happening. There's something in the chat. Love that comparison. Oh yeah, from my diplomacy. Yes. Okay. Excellent work, everyone. Any questions about the boundaries and the sovereignty practice?
For tapas, it says tapas refers to the passion generated from yoga practice. This passion burns away impurities or things that do not serve your highest good. Can we elaborate more on tapas?
Yes. So when we talk about the tapas, it's like when you think about our heart is at the center of our chakras. It's the middle of all the main chakras. And so what I like to look at is that beat of the drum, the tap of the drum, like it keeps everything going. And so if I can recognize, even in my boundary setting, if I'm feeling like, oh, I let somebody shit all over me, or I shit all over myself, or I'm outside the circle all day, man, I should just keep going outside the circle. But that commitment, that passion for me to get the inside of the circle, to get the alignment, to achieve the connection with the highest version of me. When I stay committed to that passion, then it invites me back to this work without judgment. It invites me back to this work and allows me to get really clear on the boundaries. So I also talk about that fire that the firefighters use. And so with wildfires, the concept is that when a fire burns a certain area, that is decreases the ability for fire to burn that same area again. And so if I'm able to get really clear on my boundaries and I identify what's outside and what's inside, then it allows me to prevent myself from feeling confused or from feeling lost in the sauce in the future when those things that are outside the circle happen and I'm not able to be oblivious. When the things inside the circle happen, I'm able to recognize with appreciation. And so the ability for me to keep coming back to this work, keep recommitting to creating boundaries, even when I disrespect my own boundary, even when I have the unhealthy thoughts, even when I eat the unhealthy things, even when I get angry, even when I fill in the blank. I can come back to this work again and again and again because of that passion, because of that rhythm, that beating drum, and my commitment to do that. Great question. Any other questions? Any other thoughts? Hi, Fatima.
Hello, hey.
Hi. All right, cool. So you're back just in time. We're about to switch gears. Oh, I also wanted to ask y'all, how'd y'all feel about the blindfold thing?
I love that. That was great.
I love it.
That was so good. We need
I
more.
those
Yeah.
all the time.
It was, I usually practice with my eyes closed, but this was really creating a space of it's just me here.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing. Do that.
Yeah, very cool. Glad y'all liked it. I know, like, it just feels comforting as well, that very gentle pressure, you know, on your eyes. So I'm glad y'all got to enjoy that. I meant to ask that right after the practice, so I had it in my notes, so I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. Okay, so we are going to switch gears. Our sequencing that we are looking at today is going past the apex. So we talked about the apex on Wednesday. We're going past the apex and now into the final component of the sequence. And that first element, we're looking at inversions. What is an inversion? Okay, crow pose, yes, arm balance.
Anytime that your head is below your heart.
Yes, anytime your head is below your heart. When you invert, you do not need to be upside down. You do not need to do a handstand. A forward fold is an inversion. So when you have your, so inversion is like inverting, changing the positioning of. So when I have my leg up in the air, my back on the floor, that can be considered a variation of an inversion. If I do a legs up the wall, if it's a more restorative inversion, legs up the wall, my back on the floor, inversion. Okay, so there's not necessarily a requirement for your head to be completely below your heart, since we are in regular vertical. So inversion would be taking the vertical out of the reality. So when I'm not vertical, when I'm inverted, even laying on my back and having my legs up, even though my legs or my hips aren't above my heart, I'm still bringing in that element of inversion. Does that make sense? Okay. So what you're about to do is you're going to pick an inversion pose, any pose. You can use your toolbox, you can use the anatomy coloring book, you can use the whatever, anything that you see. Go through and look at, choose an inversion. When you choose your inversion, you're also going to identify 2 modifications for your inversion. These modifications, you will consider when you would need to, or when you would offer these modifications. So for example, if I am doing a standing wide-legged forward fold. Standing wide-legged forward fold. Are you looking at it now?
Yeah.
And so I decide, hey, my inversion is this forward fold, legs are wide, but let's say somebody is unable to stand up, they're in a wheelchair. So I can offer a wide-legged seated forward fold. That's my first modification. My second modification option is, let's say, you know, someone that we're doing a seated class, or by the end, after we complete the standing forward fold, wide-legged forward fold, then we'll eventually do another version of it, which will be the seated wide-legged forward fold, would be my second modification. So on the floor, legs out, wide-legged forward fold, and then the seated in the chair, wide-legged forward fold. So those would be my two options, and those are the two cases where I would offer those. Does that make sense? And so I might even say, okay, well, if I know I'm gonna offer a wide-legged forward fold at the end of class, I could also offer it as the first pose. So because I'm identifying the different modifications, there's other places where I could plug them in. So the exercise is just to identify your inversion and two modifications. Any questions about what we're about to do? All right, so go ahead and pick your pose, your inversion, and two modifications for your pose. And go. So you're picking an inversion pose and two modifications for that pose. And I do have an extra copy of the toolbox up there.
The books were a little
Heavy.
heavy to travel with.
All right. Now write one inhale cue and one exhale cue for each pose. 1 inhale cue, 1 exhale cue for each pose.
For like each modification.
Each modification. So you have 3 sets of cues. So 3 inhale cues, 3 exhale cues. Great job using the back part of the page for support. Remember, the toolbox has different insights on the pose on the back parts of the pages. One more minute. All right. Need more time or is it all good?
I need more time.
All right. Have any questions? Anybody have any questions coming up? Yes, no?
I'm just delayed.
Okay, what are you thinking? What poses did you choose?
I don't know if it's right, but I chose that one.
Inversion. Okay, what were the modifications? Why don't you do a down dog and see? Let me see.
What's she saying about down dog? I chose that one as well. That's why I'm asking.
She's not sure about the modification.
Okay. I can share what I did.
Choose.
Hmm.
Which ones did you choose?
I saw a modification with a chair in front of them so that they're not having to go all the way down to the ground. And then the one that you offered to me, because of my hand, so the dolphin pose.
And you figured it out, like.
Okay. Well, I didn't mean to stop you from doing it, but either way,
Yeah,
okay. Did you hear Raya's example?
yeah, with the chair.
The forearms down, dolphin.
And with the chair.
What page is that on? Right, what page is that on?
Oh, I'm using the app that came with the toolbox. So it's not, yeah, I don't have the page numbers. Oh, or you know what? Try 14 in the orangish section.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know it had an app.
The toolbox came with an app, and it has, so not only does it explain the modification, it has the videos to show you what the modifications look like.
Cool.
You need a code for that to use the app?
So I ordered mine on Amazon and it came with like instructions to download the app. I would have to find the paper, but I think I did need a code. It's whatever code is on your book. I'll have to look for the instructions and I can share it.
I'm curious, because I think we have older
Yeah.
versions, so I don't know if it,
Um,
maybe they
Maybe
would.
we can write to the company
Mhm.
and ask them.
Well, depending on the number, like if it's just like a number that's in the book already, but yeah. Cool, that's good to know. Fatima, what'd you come up with?
So I kept it simple. I came up with forward fold, and my modifications are standing forward. No, yep. So my inversion is standing forward fold, and my modifications are seated folding forward fold, and also legs up the wall. So I came up with those three.
Cool. What else?
Hmm.
It sounds like you're about to say something else.
Oh, no, that was it.
Thank you for sharing.
Although sometimes I know that it is, but I have a hard time seeing legs up the wall as as an inversion, I guess, because I always think of because the heart, well, I guess your head is still below your heart. So I can see that. That was
Did-
my only question.
Do you see it on
Yes,
find it in the book?
yes, I do. It is right here and right here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can see what I just did, but definitely here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when you do it that way.
Absolutely. Yep. One of my favorite things to do is just flip the paper to get my modifications.
Yeah, that was a great tip you gave us.
Okay, excellent. All right, any questions about this pose? Everybody have their cues, or you need more time on your cues?
I just need to do the cue for my last modification.
Okay, cool. All right, y'all have 2 more minutes. What's your pose, so?
Mine is called reverse process.
Okay,
So it's kind of like.
kind of like shoulder.
Yes, it with like legs up, so yeah.
Okay. What's your modification?
With a blocker bolster or with hands supporting the sacrum.
Mm-hmm. Wait, reverse process has hands in the sequence. Right?
Yes, so,
So what's the second modification?
okay, so the second modification would be. Just flat. Well, no, because then it wouldn't be a line. It wouldn't create that inversion. So. if this is different.
I mean, maybe, because if somebody's dealing with some severe, issues, and they can't do a lot of movement, maybe legs up the wall would be just enough. Where they don't have to.
Or what
Where-
about a bridge pose without
Bridge
doing
pose
the
without the
legs
leg.
down?
Mhm.
Cause it would still create this
Mhm.
shape, so. if we-
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a great one. All right, I'll give you one more minute to finish up since you just identified your last modification. Everybody else finish your cues. Go ahead and put one of your cues in the chat. Since we're talking about modifications, did y'all notice how I set up the people in the chair and really made it easeful for myself to teach? Even though they were doing something almost completely different. I gave them their modification first, or I gave y'all your modification first. And then just give them support so they're not overthinking it and shitting all over themselves. So yeah, when I had my first pregnant person in class, I was terrified. First of all, I had just started teaching flow. I think for a year or 6 months, I was teaching the hot sequence. At the time at the studio, there was a set sequence for the hot class. So I always knew what poses I was teaching. It was the same. And usually pregnant people didn't come to that class because it was a heated room, like 100 or some degrees. Unless they had, familiar with hot and did hot prior to being pregnant, we don't recommend expecting mothers doing a hot class. So that's just in general. So when I started teaching in a non-heated room and my own sequences, and I had a pregnant person come late, she wasn't even early, so I had time to regroup and figure out what I was gonna offer her. She had the nerve to walk in 3 minutes after class started. And I panicked. I was like, oh, and extremely pregnant, like no doubt that that's what was happening. Like I didn't have to think like, oh, well, maybe she's just, it was none of that. It was like full on waddle. This person is close to delivery. So having these types of things and knowing the ability and having the ability to think of a modification is a really useful skill, whether it be somebody in a wheelchair that comes to your class, or someone who's pregnant, or someone with an injury, you being able to choose these things. Hello. You manipulate these things is very helpful. All right, we got exhale, downward facing dog, placing your hands in front of you, pressing your hips into the sky. Okay, so let's identify cue formula. So we have the breath there. What's the verb?
Okay, it kind of has a lot going on. The
Okay.
verb would be placing.
Okay, so that is an ing version. It's not an active cue.
Mm,
It's more of a
placed.
descriptive verb. So if
Okay.
we can make it active, what would we say?
We would just say place your hands in front of you.
Okay, place your hands in front of you. Got it?
And then the verb, the body part, and then
Action, so
would
breath,
be
body part. Wait, breath, action, body part where? So we have the action, press your hands in front of you, but how? Place your hands at how? Like, is it press your hands?
I just put place your hands in front of you, and then I put pressing your hips into the sky.
Okay. So if that's one cue, what we can say is we can use the hips to the sky as like the where or how. So press so much into your hands that you can press your hips to the side.
The sky.
Maybe.
Let me
Good.
try again.
Okay. Press your hands into the floor and just leave it at that. You could also say, send your hips back and up to the sky.
Okay.
So a lot of times when we know so much about a pose, it can be easy to put all the things in the cue.
Like too
And
much.
I mean, it can be too much. And if I just take it in bite-sized pieces, then it also makes it easier for the students to do the thing.
So I could just say exhale, downward facing dog, press your hands on your mat in front of you.
Yeah, but how? Press how? Press all of your fingers into the mat. Your
Okay.
hands down so much that you feel strong enough to support yourself. Like, you can, here's where you would, and this is a great cue. So I want to identify that you already had the components there. It's just like refining it like a diamond.
Mhm.
And so when you say those things, you can align it with the philosophy, with the intention. Press your hands down so much that you have the ability to surrender in your shoulders or in your neck. If surrender was your intent.
Philosophy. Okay.
Press your hips back so much that you feel space if your intention is expansion. You see how you can use
Mhm.
the same tools, the same pieces of the puzzle, and you just put them together in a way that would be in alignment with your intention, with your philosophy.
Got it.
All right, forward fold from downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward and step to the top of your mat. Place the crown of your head towards the earth, bend your knees slightly, and place your hands towards the mat. All right, so so I see you have the transition, that's cool. Let's say just already in the pose. Inhale, place your crown of your head towards the earth. Can we use I feel like I've seen place more than once already in just a short period of time. Is there a verb that would really help you to feel that fold in a different way? What's a good verb that you could put there?
Maybe allow the crown of your head to flow
Allow. Mhm.
towards the earth.
Yep, so we got
Mhm.
allow, you could say extend, you could say elongate, you could say stretch, you could say so many things that would
Okay.
really give them a chance to experience their body in a different way than if you said place.
Yeah, okay.
It's like placing my hand out in front of me, but stretching my hand out in front of me is completely different thing. Expand your hand, expand your arm, expand your neck, expand your spine is different than place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. I like
Okay.
expand and stretch too.
Okay. So inhale, stretch the crown of your head towards the earth. Excellent. Great
Good.
cue. So then the exhale could be bend, exhale, bend your knees slightly.
And then stretch your arms and hands towards the earth.
Okay, that works. All right, Mia, inhale, shoulder stand. Draw your knees into your chest. Exhale, roll up to the top of your shoulders by pressing your palms into your upper back. Inhale, slowly straighten your legs above your hips. Cool. Great. The second one is great cue formula. All right, excellent. Okay, cues. Give me one cue, Ayo.
Stretch your arms away.
Can y'all hear her?
All right. Inhale, stretch your arms away from you, elbows facing back of mat.
All right.
Then another one.
So question. Yes. All right. So here's the thing. Here's the reason why I recommend avoid using ing verbs. Because if you say, place your hands or do something facing your arms facing the back of the mat. If I'm a student and my arms are not facing the back of the mat and you said elbows facing back of the mat, what in that moment, especially not having done this work, not knowing anything about shooting on myself, what can happen in my mind? You're like, oh, it's so nice to see everyone wearing all this black. I don't have on black. Was I supposed to wear black? Oh man, I didn't wear any black. Am I doing it wrong? Am I not good enough? I shouldn't even came today. Like all those things instantly. So part of what we get to do, the magic of the cue formula is that we get to create the space where they potentially, now it's not to say that they won't should all over themselves, but we're creating the opportunity for them to experience it without the added expectation of it's already happening. So when we give an active cue, even if it's not happening, they now have the tool to say, okay, point your elbow towards the back of the mat. So I might try it. I may or may not succeed, quote unquote, succeed. And so, yes, there's opportunity for the thoughts to be there. But if you say, oh, all of us, on these red mats and nobody else has a red mat, if I'm describing something that's not happening in your body, bam, that has the opportunity to take you out. You're not even here anymore. You're gone. You're like, dang, I knew I should have stayed home and just stayed in my couch in my bed and watched Netflix instead of coming here because I'm not doing it right. Yoga's not for me. I knew this wasn't for me. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. Let's try it again. Same one.
So inhale, stretch your arms away from you, elbows back of mat.
Okay, so yes, great idea to take out the word, but you can say, point your elbows, like tell them how to do the thing because they're not as aware of their body as you. So like, if you say point your elbows to the back of the mat and nobody moves, it may not be because you didn't tell them the right thing. It just may be because they don't know how. So if nobody does the thing, so it's so funny because during class today, when everybody had the blindfolds on, And I said, okay, you can lean over to the side and do some things that feel intuitive to you. And if somebody did something, I told them to raise their arms up. That's what it was. Raise your arms up and connect your hands overhead. And so this happened. Connect your hands overhead. So when I saw that, I said, bring your palms together. So I am looking for the feedback. I'm giving them cues, but I'm not expecting them to automatically already do it or even know how. And so when I see that feedback not happening, when I say inhale, reach your hands up, and this happens, if I say, oh, our hands are reaching up to the sky, and their hands aren't reaching up to the sky, they could just say, oh, or they'd be like, oh, snap, I didn't do it right. You see what I'm saying? But I say, inhale, extend your arms all the way up. I'm now telling them how. Cool. All right, try again.
Inhale, stretch your arms away from you. Point your elbows to the back of the neck.
Yes. Do you see how that is so much more clear on what to do with what body part? Yeah, awesome. Okay. Anybody else not give a cue? Everybody share a cue? Cue?
Yes, so my pose is reverse process. And so my modification is bridge pose. And we'll begin lying flat, feet pressed into your mat. Inhale, send your hips towards the sky. Exhale, press your shoulders into the earth so much you feel ease in your cervical spine. Then inhale, bring your palms to press into your sacral so much that you ignite your hip flexors.
I like it. Great. One thing about implying that if they feel ease, because if it's like really challenging and they don't feel ease, you could say that maybe you could feel a little less tension in your shoulders. So ease might not be, because bridge pose is not useful for everyone. Cool, good work. I mean, or maybe if you do bridge pose on a block and they can actually, set their body weight down. But if they're lifting up, even if they stretch their,
Right, 'cause when I did it, I tested it out first and it's not,
it's not quote unquote like
the.
laying on a hammock,
Yeah.
type of ease.
Okay.
So yeah. You're welcome. Okay, Nuri, did you share one already?
No.
All right.
So I did wide-legged forward fold. Well, I just didn't bring my toolbox books, but I brought like sections. And the cue is inhale, raise both of your arms to the sky. Exhale, place both your arms on your side, lengthening your torso facing the ground.
All right. Excellent. That works. Okay. So we're about to switch gears and I'm wondering, do y'all need a quick break? Or are we good to go? Because we got about an hour and some change left. If y'all want a break, I was gonna give like a 3-minute break. 3-minute break. See y'all at 5 after.
So, thank you so much for considering me. My presence there, although I cannot eat the food, I will go for about an hour, hang out with you guys, because I know that we all would really like to hang out with each other. And it made my mom kind of look.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like the restaurant will be changed because the way she looked was like, she was not expecting that sort of graceful reaction where she wasn't able to fire back. Usually I give her a little bit of something to fire back on, even if I am trying to be kind of like grateful or whatnot, like there's always like a little jab in there, like you are doing this, it's your fault. And so I was like, no, like I really truly want to change this story for us.
Yes.
And so the way she looked at me just made me laugh so much.
Yes.
I feel like they're gonna change the restaurant, but.
And even if they
Even
don't,
if they don't, I've already said I'll set my boundary, like, the food is not my thing, but I'll go because we're gonna enjoy each other's time. I'm not in town all the time.
yeah, awesome. Yay, yo, you
We
so
should,
me.
yeah.
That's exciting. All right, y'all, we are back. And we are switching gears. So we're going to play a game. Yes, yes.
This is like a blah, blah, blah.
It is similar to the style of the blah, blah, blah. All right, so we're gonna have some fun. And Sophie's gonna go first, and then we'll have Io, and then they have to leave, and then we'll continue on. So essentially, we are going to teach a pose. Everybody review Sun Citation B, or is Sun Citation A more easeful to teach? A, okay, so you'll have the choice to teach Sun A or Sun B based on your experience in your ease. So when you teach, you will be given different directives of things to do as the teacher in the effort of allowing you space to practice surrender. Practice letting go of resistance. Yeah. All right, so let me give y'all an example. All right, so everybody get on their mat. So I'm about to teach. All right, clear your mat space off, get your mat shreddy, ready, Freddy, nice and steady. Y'all know when I be rhyming, something about to happen. Okay. So you have the option of doing the seated salutation if you're still digesting food, or if you're good to go, you can go ahead and stand up. So you'll make that choice for yourself. All right, stand up towards the top of your mat. Okay. Inhale, reach your arms up. Woo-hoo. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Yes, go team. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Yeah. Exhale, downward dog. Let's go team. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach up, spirit fingers. Exhale, hands to heart. Do y'all know what character I was doing?
Cheerleader.
Cheerleader. Yeah, yeah. All right, Sophie, you may approach. You can stand on the teacher mat. All right, so you are Oh, I'm gonna tell you what you are so that everybody can guess it. All right, so you have a class here. You can either sit and see, or I can move it up to the table if that's better. So you can see.
Oh, I should probably,
So I can put it over there.
yeah, let's put it over there.
So we got Sophie's there. Okay, cool. All right.
All right, everyone, inhale, hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press those hands into the fronts of your shins.
Uh-oh, not everybody's doing it.
Uh-oh, who's not doing this? Who's not in their forward fold? Mia, stick your hips towards the wall. Flatten your back.
More.
There we go. That's right. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, step back, high plank. We're gonna stay in this high plank, and you're gonna breathe here.
Command hand.
Breathe. All right, engage that belly a little bit more. And exhale, bring your feet towards your hands.
More character.
Inhale, halfway lift. Press your hands into your shins. I better see those hips towards the back of the wall. Whose hips are not towards the back of the wall? Whose hips? Press those shoulders towards the back of the wall. We have those shoulders towards the back. We are in a halfway forward fold.
More character.
Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands all the way up to the sky. Press your palms together and down to your heart.
All right, what was she?
You a drill sergeant?
Yes. All right. I go. Oh, all right.
Oh.
Oh, you want another one? I got another one, but they're gonna be equally.
You got it.
Hey, that's a little bit easier.
All right, well, you gotta do it. You gotta do it more then. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm doing sensitization.
Yeah. To the max.
Okay, everyone, let's, all right, hold on. Okay, everyone, put your hands all the way up all the way to the sky, and then exhale, put your arms, exhale, palms together, hands center. Inhale. step
More,
your-
or are you gonna go to the first one?
Okay.
What?
All right, exhale, put your right foot back to the back of your mat. Inhale, put your arms all the way up.
I don't know if they know who you are.
There you go.
If they don't, you might have to go again.
Exhale, put your arms back down to the mat. Inhale, step your right foot to the front. No, I fucked that.
What?
Damn.
All right. So it's less about the poses and more about the character.
All right.
All right, so.
What?
Mia's still in her forward fold.
I don't know if you can't tell. I love forward fold.
I love it.
I could be feeling my spine decompress.
Ooh, yes.
Huh?
And then I recently discovered if you traction the back of your neck,
Uh-huh.
the cervical spine can release as well.
Mm.
So good.
Is that how you do it? Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. All right, come on. All right, now. Inhale, put your arms up toward the sky. Palms touch. Exhale to your heart center. Inhale, step your right foot back. Exhale, put your arms up. More voice. Inhale, put your arms down to the mat. Exhale, put your left foot back. Chaturanga. Up dog. And exhale, down dog. Come on, hurry up. Down dog. Yeehaw. Now, step your other foot forward. Inhale. Exhale, put your arms out. Yeehaw. Inhale. Step your other foot forward. Exhale. Exhale, hands to heart. Yeehaw.
Yee Yeehaw. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. Thank you. Good work. She was riding that horse, wasn't she?
Uh-huh.
She had for everything, okay? Excellent, excellent. Y'all could tell who she was the second time. You didn't know who she was at first, did you? Yeah, see?
What did she say?
Valley girl. You had no idea.
Now, I was gonna say cowgirl.
No, the second time. But the first, she had Valley Girl first, and she was kind of hesitant to go as deep as, and see, there's my expectation was like, okay, guys, I mean, like, let's totally do the yoga, you know. That's, I did have that in that Clueless movie in my head that moment. So you did a great job. All right, Fatima, you are next.
Okay.
All right. I'm typing it to you in the private chat.
Okay.
All right, when you're ready.
Me. Okay, ladies. Inhale and lift both arms high to the sky. Palms come to touch. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to a plank. I lost my train of thought. Inhale, upward facing. Downward facing dog.
Vocals?
Go again.
Come all the way back to mountain.
Inhale, look forward, step to the top of your mat. down to heart center.
All right. Did anybody tell what her character was?
Girl, that was funny.
Opera.
A dying cat.
Yes, that was good. That was good.
That was funny.
You knew. All right. Okay. Raya, you are next.
I'll have to get close. I don't have my contacts here.
Okay.
That is so crazy. That's what I was thinking in my mind. Okay, let's do it. Greetings, ladies. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands to the sky.
More character.
Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step your right foot to the back of your mat. Hold your breath, step your left foot to the back of your mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, send your hips to the sky. Inhale, bring your left foot to the front of the mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center.
All right, can anybody guess?
Robot.
Yes. Good work. Okay, Nuri.
Okay. I'm good. Yeah, here's one. No, I don't have it. You can say one. All right, what's up, y'all? So let's cruising, all right? So we're gonna ride the wave on our mats today. Let's go ahead and start in the front of our mat like it's a wave going side to side, yeah. Hip width apart. Inhale, raise both your arms to the sky, yes, to the sky, beautiful. Look up if you, because in your practice.
Nuri, we can hardly hear you.
No way. All right, raise both your arms to the sky. Exhale, bring them down to your heart center. And
More character.
exhale, forward fold down your surf pad. Inhale, halfway fold, hands to your chin. Look right between your feet. Inhale, reach both arms to the sky. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. All right, I lost my character.
That's okay. Bring it back.
All right, Calabanga, guys. Yeah, we're gonna ride the wave. Surf up, surf up. Inhale, bring your right foot forward. Exhale, inhale, reach both your arms to the sky. Calabanga, yay. Inhale, bring your left foot forward to meet your Okay, so let's go ahead and then we're going and exhale, bring both your arms down to your heart center. Inhale, reach both your arms to the sky. Yes, to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Yes, forward fold. Come on. Yes, feel those hips as they, yes. Let your hand gently hang low. Rico, qué bonito. Sí.
All right, good work, good work. Okay, she had two characters. Anybody know who her
Okay,
character was?
so the first character sounded like a hippie surfer, the f- the 420 special.
All right. Who was the second? Sophie,
Like a
second character?
The second character, oh man, she threw some Spanish in there, so I was just gonna, it was still very,
Did you see her, what she
Yeah,
was doing in her body?
she was a suave,
like a
suave.
salsa instructor.
Suavemente, yeah, she was like doing the salsa.
Elvis Crispy.
Awesome. Okay, Mia.
Okay. Let's see. I got a lot of personalities, so this
I
should
was
be.
about to say she probably can't pick her own.
Oh God. Okay. All right. All right, y'all. I'm feeling the spirit today. I'ma need y'all to come forward. Step to the top of your mat. If you are ready to be saved, start in Tadasana.
Well,
All right, hallelujah. Send your arms to the heavens, breathing in. Thank
Amen.
the Lord. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Thank God for your heart. All right, breathing in, coming down into forward fold. Thank the Lord for your feet. Yes, Lord. Inhale, halfway lift. Bringing your hands to your shins. Thank you, Lord. Exhale, send your hands to the mat. We're gonna go back into chaturanga. Bring your right foot back, bring your left foot back. Come down and greet the ground. Breathing in, cobra. Exhale, man, into downward facing dog. Breathing in, thanking the Lord for your good lungs. Good lungs. Inhale, step your right foot to the top of your mat, man. And bring your left foot to the top of your mat, man. Inhale, slowly rising up. Praise Jah, praise Jah, praise Jah. Send your hands overhead. Thank Jah, praise the Most High. All right, now send those hands down to your heart center. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. 420 blaze, Amon.
All right, she had two characters. Anybody notice the first one?
Reverend?
Yeah, yeah. Told her a country Southern Baptist pastor.
But yes.
Oh, the second one.
Oh, the second one, okay.
The second one, yes, more like the Jamaican.
Rasta preaching.
Turned into a Rasta pastor.
I know,
That was
right?
like a switch. That was a switch.
All right, so essentially what we've done here is take like needing to be perfect, even it wasn't about what poses and what order and what you were doing. It's really about surrendering, being in a space out of your normal, something that you wouldn't just normally do, whether it was physically lassoing your students or baptizing them in the name of all the, different components. So you have the opportunity to play. What came up for you during that play?
Surrender.
I got out of my head. I had fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Overthinking the character.
for sure. I usually know how to do a surfer person, but it was just like, what happened in that moment, just taking out of my element. It was,
Mhm.
but it was fun to teach. That part
Mhm.
was fun.
Okay. All right, so we have one more round. I know that it's 2:20, so y'all are staying or rolling. It's up to you. We're gonna play a couple more, and I give y'all a chance to go, and then we are going to go one more round. This time I'll just speak them out, and then you'll change in the moment. Okay? So we'll have, since we started in person, now we're gonna go back and we'll go to Raya. All right, so Raya, you're going to teach as a all right, I want to give you this so you can have some fun with it. So you are a magic fairy with your magic wand, and you are going to be waving your magic wand and flapping your wings while you teach with a very lighthearted voice to it, but still be able to teach and they hear you.
Okay. What does a fairy sound like?
Make it
A
up.
fairy sounds like this. Well, that's my interpretation. Let me be quiet.
Okay.
At least in the fun movies I watch, they have like light voices. Like,
Hey, ladies. Today we're going to do a classical sun salutation. Hands to heart center. Perfect.
lots of giggles.
Alrighty now, you're gonna bring those hands to the ceiling.
More giggles.
I feel like my giggle is evil.
All right, switch characters. You're now an evil villain. Let's go.
Now you're going to bring those hands to the ground, crushing your palms into your mat. Step your feet back.
Bye, so.
Bye, Sophie.
Hi, Sophie.
Wait, where are we? Hold on, lost my train of thought. Let me get it back together.
One click.
Bring your knees to the mat.
The top of
Huh?
I said you can bring them to the top of the mat.
Step your feet to the top of the mat. Bring your hands back to the ceiling. Crush the ceiling with your power. Seal in your power. Bring hands to heart center. Exhale.
All right. We'll have Mia. You're going to come in. You are a heavyweight boxing champ, and you're going to be boxing the air while you teach and give them huh, huh, huh.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna need y'all to get in your square. Get in your square. Get prepared. You never know what's coming. Come on now. Let's take a deep breath in. Send those arms up overhead. Send those arms up overhead. Great. Bring them down. Exhale into your heart. Ooh, good. I'm like losing it because I'm too into character. So exhale, send your arms to the mat. Send your hands to. Girl, I cannot multitask like this.
You got it. You got it.
Okay, exhale, send your hands to the mat.
All right.
And
Tybo. You're now Billy Blanks. Let's see it. Okay, you don't know who Billy Blanks is?
no,
All right, so Jane Fonda.
The
I
Taibo,
can, I could be Mayweather. I don't know. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay.
Right, so pause. Okay. All right, so get up into your standing position.
Okay.
All right, so now you're going to teach from hands on your knees. And you are teaching, you are a twerk instructor.
You're Megan.
Yep.
All right, it's your favorite hot girl coach, aka Nia the Stallion, and I'm gonna need y'all to really get into this. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna take a deep breath, send our hands overhead, breathing in, taking it all in. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center, dropping down into a forward fold. All right, now take a deep breath in, and I'm gonna need you to put your hands on your knees, shaking your ass on some shit. All right. Circular motion. Send it in a circle. Slow motion. Slow motion. All right. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale. Drop it down. And slowly rising up. And bring your arms overhead. And drop. Exhale. Bring your hands back to your heart.
All right, great job. Fatima, you are a country singer. You are playing your guitar while you teach.
Okay.
It's up to you.
All right, y'all. We gonna do this now. Standing tall, inhale, both hands over your head. Forward fold. Bend that waist all the way down. Hands touch the ground. And you're gonna step back that right leg. Stepping back, y'all. Boom, boom, boom. Bring the left leg back to. Chaturanga, come forward to your upward facing dog. Dog, 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 dog.
All right, so now you are an animal whisperer, so you will bark after every cue.
Exhale, downward facing dog. Woo, woo. Inhale, look forward and step forward. Woo, woo, woo. Forward fold. Woo. Inhale, woo, woo. Rising up to the top. Woo, woo. Hands to heart, hands touch. Woo. Hands to heart center.
Good
That
work.
was weird. That felt weird.
That was so good.
Hey, it's all to get you out your comfort zone. I feel like you were singing so good. I want to throw in something else in there. Okay, good work, good work. All right, so Ayo, you about to roll out? All right, so we'll have you teach to your digital students. All right, Nerdy. Yeah, okay, cool. So they come on, Shimon. All right, you are Michael Jackson.
All right. Hee. Everyone, put your hands up. Palms touching. Hee. Palms to heart center. Exhale, forward fold,
Like ABC.
like A, B, C. And it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Now step your right leg back. Hee. Inhale, put your arms up. Exhale, put your arms. Exhale, put your arms back down. Inhale, step your other foot back.
All right, football coach.
All right, now, hut. Put your other leg, chaturanga, hut. Hurry up now. Step your, all right, I'm gonna mess up now.
You got it. They just chaturanga, they ain't up dog.
All right, down dog. Come on, hustle.
Step your other foot forward. Come on, hurry up, hurry up. And put your arms up. Step your other foot forward. Hands to heart center.
All right, good work. All right, Nuri. You can teach from there if you like.
Oh, they won't give them your.
Okay. All right, so you are going to, y'all give me a good one. What's a good character?
Let's see.
Oh, I got one. Okay. So here we go. You think about, you can put it in the chat. All right,
Okay.
so come on over here. You're going to be a karate instructor. You're gonna be a karate person. So widen your feet out like horse stance. Bend your knees. Get your arms up. And after every pose, huh.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Welcome, my pupils. Let's go ahead and reach both arms to the sky. Exhale, bring them all the way down to the mat. Inhale, place your arms to the shins. Karate chop them. To your chins. Yes, halfway fold. Great. Inhale, step back into chaturanga. Feel that power force in you, your Power Ranger. Inhale, downward dog. Yes, go to upward dog. Y'all know better, my pupils. I'm your sensei today. Inhale, downward dog. Drishti between your hands. Inhale, step the front of the mat. Exhale, stand in the front, stand right there. Very beautiful. Yes, you're gonna all be ninjas when we're done here. Inhale, reach both your arms to the sky. Feel that force within you. Divine got you. Inhale, bring your arms down to your palms. Yes, karate chop.
Awesome.
Good job, Neri.
I felt it in there. That was cool.
Nice, nice. All right. Okay. Oh, that's a good one.
Next time.
Yes, yes. All right. Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome back, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Y'all have a great day.
Bye.
We have approximately 30 minutes or so until the end of the training. What I have us to do is to work on answering any questions that y'all have first. And then we can go anywhere else from there. So any questions on what we've done so far today or what we've done so far in training?
So for the apex position pose, I know we decided on reclining pigeon. However, I can't get into that pose, and I know you said teach where you're at. So I wanted to see the pose. The feet, which is the shin on the floor. Is that bring your right knee forward beside? Is that like that? Is that an apex pose as well?
It can be.
It can be.
Mhm.
Okay.
I would say come all the way into your foot. So like as if you're going into the full one, like lean all the way on your right butt cheek there and then fold.
Okay. That would be it.
That would be taking pressure off of your knee because you're not like on top of your shin as much.
Yeah, that will confuse me as well because of the back of it, it says to your right buttock rest on or near your right heel. So it sounds like it's it. This way.
It can be, I mean, it just really depends on what's accessible. Not everybody is going to be able to do the variations that are in the pictures.
Okay.
And so when you are teaching students that have less hip mobility, there's always a potential in our culture for like knee concerns when there's tightness in the hip. So I personally wouldn't leave them in that for a long period of time if there's a lot of hip tightness.
Okay.
So that's why I would recommend doing the one where you fold, like where I had you come over to the side a little bit more, because it took more pressure off.
Yeah, that's what, I thought so too, okay. Yes, and another question, it said Sun B, and when we do teach, as yoga teachers, we are supposed to start getting familiar with the sound salutation, so that way when we teach it, we're not looking on your cue formula, you have Sun B or Sun A real quick, and that's it. But someone that like me that hasn't fully been familiar with the poses sequence, I don't want to write them all down. Like, it's best to get familiar with them.
I recommend writing it down to start.
Okay, that would help. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've been doing this a while, so I just don't write them out.
Okay.
And it's just because I also, like we're saying, is I put all my things on one page, so I'm only choosing what's gonna be really helpful for me. And that's how I write my sequence notes. You have to choose what's gonna be helpful for you. Like one time I had like a code for everything, and then I kept forgetting what all the things meant. And so while I do recommend having your own code, if that's gonna confuse you, then it's not gonna be helpful. And that's why I say don't write out all your cues like a paragraph, because then it's not as helpful, even though it's saying the things, but you're like, inhale, reach your arms up, and then, like reading like this, then you're not teaching, you're orating. All right, cool. Great question. Any other questions?
Yes, I also have a question about the sequence that we built out in last class. So I get a bit confused. So like with Sun B in the book, this is what it's showing. Is this the right? Oh, wait,
Let me grab my book.
there it is. Is this the right one?
Hold on, I'm grabbing my books and see what's this. All right, so we have Pranamasana, Utkatasana, Uttanasana, Chaturanga, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Adho Mukha Svanasana, Virabhadrasana, Chaturanga Dandasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Adho Mukha Svanasana, Virabhadrasana, Chaturanga Dandasana, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, Adho Mukha Svanasana, Uttanasana, Utkatasana, and Pranamasana. Yes. So we have done this, I think we only did this together in the last class, and I also included some vignettes in there. So we're gonna do a straight up Sun B on Wednesday. So
Okay.
you can feel what it's like in your body.
Okay, because I know you wanted us to record ourselves teaching this. And so when you say Sun B 2 times, so we would do all of the poses that you just called out twice. And then we would go into those variations of the crescent lunge, the twisted, what's twisted LL again?
Low lunge.
Low lunge. Okay. So crescent lunge, twisted low lunge, and lizard. Those 3 poses come after we do the sun salute B twice. So that's 2 separate things. Okay.
Yep. Yep. Great question. But yeah, so essentially you exhale and teach them that pose. Inhale, teach them that pose. Exhale,
Mhm.
teach them that pose. So I mean, we haven't done it together. We will. And
Okay.
you can also, if you have to schedule to teach or to practice teach prior to Wednesday, then you can teach Sun A 2 times. if that's more familiar for you, more accessible. So my goal is that it doesn't hinder you if you already plan to teach prior to Wednesday. That makes sense.
Okay.
Great question. All right, any other questions?
Croissant lunch is.
Crescent.
Crescent lunch is this right here, right?
So crescent lunge, and then there are lots of different variations of crescent.
Yeah, that's what confuses me, because then you have twisted low lunge.
Yes. So when I think crescent, I think like a runner's lunge, but not low. Like a high runner's lunge. With your arms up. That would be crescent.
Okay.
Because crescent is also referred to as a warrior. Crescent warrior. Or crescent lunge.
Okay. And then low lunge would be lowering.
Low lunge is knee down, yeah.
Knee down, feet pressing on the ground, or?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Unless you're teaching a variation, so you could do low lunge with heel to butt. But if I do something like that, I add that in like a parentheses or something to the side, so I know to teach the heel to butt addition. Or if I do a low lunge plus twist, then I know to teach the low lunge and then teach the twist. Does that make sense?
And our twist, is it the paper rock, or is it our hands extended?
Up to you. Your choice. What type of twist you like to teach?
Okay.
You could even teach hand down twist.
Okay, so just a twist.
Just a twist.
Okay, nice.
Like if you want to twist and connect hand to the foot, you can. If you want to do, like for y'all more flexible hip people, if you want to do a pigeon and then reach your back heel towards your butt when you're already folded, you can do that too. So you can take what we've done together and add in your own spices and your own flavors, your own characters, personalities.
Okay.
Cause y'all know when I add in my own character and personalities, you can definitely tell a difference. I feel like this is your chance to really explore how to express yourself as a teacher. Because the idea is that when people come to your class, they're not taking an Alicia class. Even though we studied together, they are coming to experience a class straight from Raya. And they can feel it. They're coming to take a Fatima class. They're, they might see some evidence that you've studied with me because maybe some of your word choice or some of your the way you put your poses together, but they're not coming and saying, oh my gosh, you teach just like Alicia. Like that's not the goal. Because I've definitely taken classes from people before and I'm like, I know exactly who your teacher is. Because you start your class exactly like them. You say the same words. You do the same movements. Like, if I had my eyes closed, I could have been in their class. And that's not the goal. I'm not trying to copy ourselves. Docs Candace and I are not trying to copy ourselves and put that on you. It's the idea that we're giving you the ability to know the formula, to plug into the formula so that you can teach a safe and effective practice that goes towards the bigger mission, gives people access to inner peace, and then creates the ripple effect throughout their community. Remember, I told y'all, I believe this is very much my diplomacy element. So somebody like, oh, you don't use your degree? And I was like, I kind of do though. Okay. Cool, does that make sense? Any questions about that? No? Okay, any other questions? These are great, keep them coming, y'all. We got 15 more minutes. Anything that has come up for you so far? Oh, how did the new setup for the homework, has that been helpful? I didn't add a quiz for this week, but you will get one next week.
I was wondering as well, do we still put our homework in our homework folder?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. I didn't differentiate, you're right, on this one, and I remember I wrote it in my notes and I forgot to add it on there. So yes, good question. If you haven't, to put in your homework folder, if you haven't
Oh,
put
okay.
like any sequences and things that you create, in general, put in your homework folder so that we'll be able to see when you turn them in. Okay. All right, so we have 15 more minutes. Any other questions that have come up for y'all? Oh, I don't want to zip by this, especially if there's something that's been something you haven't spoken up about and would like to ask.
No questions for me.
Okay. Fatima, were you about to unmute?
No questions for me, just any suggestions for learning the Sanskrit? I'm struggling with that. Well, because it is learning another language, basically, you know.
Yes.
I'll get there. Just practice, I guess.
Your flashcards.
Okay.
So with your flashcards, taking the way they have them here, how it breaks it down, put the word in English on one side, or if you're an artist, you can draw the picture on one side, have the Sanskrit on the back. The actual process of writing it out, you know, whatever your accent, I mean, we're saying it in English, it's not true to the original Sanskrit scholars who describe Sanskrit as being the only true way to express the energy of the pose because of the intonation. And I hear that, I get all that. And the communication is more important when you're communicating with our people. They're gonna resonate if you say it clearly, as opposed to needing to say Vira Bhadrasana or try to have some like Indian, I don't know, that was a weird accent I just pulled out, Stephanie. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, hold on, there's another one. I could say it more Trikonasana. Like you don't need to put the extra umph. Like if you say Trikonasana, people are gonna know what you're saying. All right.
Kind of
Even
sound like a
in
little
French, like
Indian.
people who speak with English accents in French speakers know what you're saying. They just will never assume that you are a native French speaker. What were you saying, Mia?
I was saying like trying to sound like a Indian, like a guru, almost might emulate you to be a meme or something, you know.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's what is really authentic to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good point. Okay. These are good. These are good. Is that helpful, Fatima? Okay.
Yes, thank
So
you.
when I have my neighbors and I'm like, hola, and I'm like talking to them, but I really am like a language fan. And so like I actually started studying, you know, I've been to a couple Spanish speaking countries. And so I was just like, oh, I hope they don't think I'm trying to like pretend that I speak Spanish. So one day I was like, no, we're about to have a conversation so you can see that estoy aprendiendo español. Y, you know, like we're gonna do this thing. I'm gonna practice a little bit every time I see you. And so now it's more clarity. You know, she doesn't think, oh, here's this Afro girl that's just like, you know, randomly speaking to me in Spanish, even though I speak English, you know, like that type of thing.
It sounds great.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Okay. Anybody else gonna use their cards for the Sanskrit practice?
I do.
Yeah.
Like I'll switch through them when I'm between studies. I'll look into them.
Nice. That's a good one. Okay, excellent. So we have about 10 more minutes. So I know that everybody said they didn't have any questions. You just unmuted. Did you have something you want to add?
No, I was just gonna say I'm using the yoga toolbox like for everything. It's like a yoga Bible. I love it.
I love it because I still use it to this day. Like, you know, the Ayurveda, the chakras, the symbolism. Like, it's just so chock full of good
I'm
stuff.
curious to know what's the difference from the new one to the old one, right? Like, what did they change up?
Not much. They switched some page numbers around. From my perception, like it's very similar. It's very similar. Very similar. Okay. So we will go ahead and work towards our ending. We'll have everyone guide us in a 3-part breath, not a 3-part breath, but a 3 rounds of breath, and then we'll call it a day. All right, I have your book for you. I don't know when I'll see you next.
Yeah, just hold on to it for me, please.
Gotcha. All right. And you
I
can
can
go first.
I can start. All right, everyone, come to a comfortable seated position. Relax those shoulders, loosen the jaw, lower the eyelids. Take a slow inhale through the nose. And a slow exhale out the mouth. Take another intentional inhale through the nose. Exhale, activating your throat with the low hum. Exhale. Take our last inhale through the nose. And on your exhale, I want you to think about our philosophy and really let go of all the things that you feel are restricting you and surrendering to our divine source. Deep exhale out the mouth.
Nice. Okay. Nice check-in. You had them check in with different body parts in their face. You had them really immediately feel their bodies. And then you juxtapose that with the nose, the this, the that. You did use the entire time with the entire time.
Mm.
Just pointing it out, not wrong. And a lot of times when our community is coming to the practice for the first time, they haven't usually had the ability to connect to them first. So I usually would recommend to bring in some more you
Okay.
so that they can get a little bit of the proprioception and connection to their physical body, which is often the reason that people will show up, like for
Gotcha.
pain or feeling stressed, or, a lot of people are coming to feel their body. So
Mm.
bringing in that you are, your nose,
Your nose. Okay.
your head, your breath, and really give them a chance to experience it. And
Okay.
you sprinkle in some these in there, but just, giving people that ability, that occasion.
Making it more personable.
Exactly. Exactly. You had a great space for them to connect. You gave a pause. It did not feel rushed at all. It felt like they had exactly the time that they needed to enjoy, to savor, to experience their breath. Very good. And then when you gave the low hum, it seemed almost like an afterthought. Like it was not explained on what does that mean, like low
Mm.
hum. Is it audible? Is it silent? Is
Gotcha.
it a humming sound? Is it like it's just a little bit unsure. And I don't know if you felt that unsure energy that came off of your students after you said it, but it was
Mm.
just like, wait, what? So
Somehow.
yeah, somehow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was very good. Good job.
Thank you.
All right. Fatima.
right where you are, take a deep breath in through the nose, filling up the belly like a balloon. Inhale. Exhale and release all of the air from the belly. Inhale, filling all the way up. Open mouth, exhale, sigh it out. Let something go. On your next inhale, send some energy of love and light to the tips of your toes, sending that breath down your toes, relaxing your foot, relaxing your ankle. Inhale, exhale, continue that energy to your knees, softening your knees, softening your thighs. Inhale, breathing into the belly space again. Feel your belly rise on the inhale. Feel your belly fall on the exhale. Sending that breath to your heart space. Hold it there for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, sending that breath to your throat space, softening your jaw, softening your eyelids in the area between your brow, breathing into your scalp, relaxing your scalp. Open mouth, exhale, sending that breath back down through your body, back out to the toes.
Good work. All right, you did the juxtaposition. You had the and the your scalp, your breath, your jaw, your eyelid. So great job weaving in that proprioception with the ability to disconnect from the ownership of their physical body. So nice job. You were doing some things with your hands. Did you notice that?
I don't know. No, I didn't notice it, but I probably was.
Like your hands were like fidgeting a little bit. And so I would recommend, choosing a mudra, something that's easeful for you. And if it is interlacing fingers, like give your thumbs something to do too.
Yeah.
And you said send energy. So you went on an energy journey, and I could feel that. That was amazing. Your tone of voice really showed that you were taking teacher pranayama.
Oh, that's interesting because I thought about it when I started and then I lost it, but it's good to know that it's continued. Okay.
Could clearly see your breath and the way that you spoke out. It sounded like you were pouring from a full cup. Great work. All right, Mia, and then we'll have Nuri.
Right? Hmm. I'm still in character. Starting where you are, find yourself in a breaths. Breathing in through your nose. Exhale, release. Breathing in from your nose. Exhale, release. Now breathing in, draw your breath from the base of your spine and send your breath towards the crown of your head. Holding here, shift your awareness into your heart. Exhale, release from your heart. Breathing in from the base of your spine, sending your breath up into your crown. Holding at the top. Exhale, release through your heart. Breathing in from the base of your spine, sending your breath to the top of your crown. Holding here, gather any ruminating thoughts. And exhale, release through the heart.
Nice. Good work. Okay, I appreciate you taking your pause. You know,
Okay.
whether it be being in character or something, a phone call right before you started teaching, or something loud outside the room when you're teaching in the middle of the class. Whenever you need a pause, is there for you. So thank you for doing that and taking that. You did say holding here, and it was question breath, hold the breath or holding intention. So I feel like
Okay.
that, more clear. Was it both? You know, what exactly is happening? And then you did use ing, holding, breathing, and it's fine. And you could give them a chance to feel more, not necessarily quote unquote in control, like more like active participant in their own breath, in their own body. So breathe in, breathe here. I wrote breathing. I couldn't think of any. Oh, holding. Hold your breath here. Like that's an easy way to make it really clear. And then I said, okay, ruminating. I like those kind of words. And so know that not everybody may know what that means. So when you're teaching to certain audiences, that could be helpful. Other audiences, it could take them down that whirlpool of thoughts of like, wait, what does that mean? I don't know what this means. She's using big words, you know what I mean? Awesome, good work. Okay, so we're 2 minutes over. You'll take us in and lead us with our last breaths, and then we'll be done.
Sit comfortably wherever you feel. Gently close your eyes.
I can't hear you.
Gently close your eyes. Feel your natural rhythm of breath. Feel the rise of your chest, the fall of your stomach. Inhale deeply in your chest. Exhale, release it all. Let your stomach kiss your spine. Inhale. Big breath you've taken all day. Exhale, let that all go. The divine source has you.
All right.
Sorry,
Good.
Raya. I'm close up and everything. We'll get a mic next time.
That is a great option to consider. If you're soft-spoken and in general, or if you're losing your voice or whatever, and projecting is actually not easeful for you, then having a mic, having a personal amplifier could definitely be something that you plan to do.
Yeah.
I wrote down teacher pranayama for your projection. You were taking rather shallow breaths when you were teaching. It seemed like you were, thinking about some other things. And then speak. Nourishing you, filling you up to be able to project, to be able to speak at a louder volume. So that's an option, again, based off if it's easeful for you in the moment, on the day, So I do recommend, even if you are a louder person, it's recommended to be prepared with some type of mic system, because the day that you teach, you might be feeling a little fatigued. And so you need to show up for an hour or 2 hours or whatever the case may be for the class, support yourself so that you can hold space for others.
Yeah, I felt bad that I couldn't hear me either. So I was like, oh man.
Yeah. I also like that you got the natural rhythm of breath. Knowing how it feels to observe your natural rhythm. I could tell that you've done that extensively, the way that you just easily were able to point out different things for them to observe. So that is one of the things that really sticks out about you having done the work first, because you can skillfully guide others through it. So great work. All right, everyone, awesome job. Great work today, and we will see you on Tuesday.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
You.